Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Trademark Sports podcast. Footy is now, trials are over. Footy is 2 weeks away. But before we get into today's podcast, got a quick little ad to read to you guys. Bluebet has stumped up $200 for you guys to get involved against us in a tipping competition. It's a winner takes all competition and it's free to enter. All you got to do is head over to ESPN Footy Tips, look up Trademark Sports Tipping Competition, and then you'll find us there. And remember, this season, if you are going to have a punt, do it with Bluebet, the true blue Aussie bookie. And as always, gamble responsibly. So, Dano, how are you?
Mate, I'm very well. Very excited for the footy. Very excited to talk about some footy. I'm great all around. Everything's great for me.
Are you sure you're excited to talk about some footy? The Knights suck at the moment, mate.
Mate, it's trials. You can't take nothing from trials. Everyone knows that.
That is true. That is true. Speaking of the trials, look, I'll be honest with you. I had a huge weekend of just life. So I didn't get to watch that much footy. Pretty sure Dana didn't either because, look, same thing. This is going to happen sometimes. But, look, from everything I've read, and I have watched the highlights and stuff, there are some teams that stood out for me. Tell you what, the Sharkies, just based off trial form, of course, they look all right.
Yes, they do. They look. They've got a lot of good young blokes coming through, which is exciting because they've got a pretty good starting side. So all these young lads coming through, it looks good for the present and good for the future for the Sharkies.
That's it. I think one thing that I would like to get your opinion on before we get into the bulk of the episode, talking about like TAC teams, seasons and stuff, is Dominic Young has basically purportedly anyway signed with the Roosters. How do you feel about that one?
You know my feelings. The podcast the other week, I said, give him like a boat or fucking a share of the Knights League Club. I said just throw anything at him. Just he's a winger. Surely he can't cost that much. Like just keep him. He's so young. He's like, what is he? 20, 21?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's only getting better. He went so good in the World Cup. And now watch. He'll go to the Roosters and Trent Robinson will turn him into one of the best wingers in the game. And it makes my heart sad.
Well, that's it. Like, he apparently reportedly knocked back $1.2 million from the Knights and the Titans to take up an offer for the Roosters. So it's not like the money wasn't proposed to him. But yeah, so I mean,
it's the same thing that happened with Connor Watson. Connor Watson, the Knights offered him more money and he chose to go to the Roosters. We're just going to start winning some games, man, and get I don't want to blame everything on the coach, but I think we need a coach that can get players to come there that players want to play for. Like you look what happened with the Sharks when Craig Fitzgibbon got there. You know, everyone knocked him for getting rid of what was his name, the coach before Fitzgibbon.
Flanagan,
Yeah,
no.
anyway,
Yeah,
yeah. You know, Thingo, he played for Parramatta and the Sharks. Anyway, he's only young. They got rid of him, and everyone was like, "Oh, it's a bit harsh. It's a bit harsh." But as soon as they got Craig Fitzgibbon, players started going, "Oh, I want to play for the Sharks. I want to play for the Sharks." Now look at how the Sharks are going now.
John Morris.
John Morris, that's it. Johnny Morris. Sorry, John. I know you're listening. Sorry, mate. I won't forget your name again. Yes. Maybe we need to look in another direction for a coach. I don't.
It's the same sort of problem as the Dragons. It's so hard to recruit and retain players because there's not really any direction at the club. Yeah, like the future doesn't look very bright. Where then you've got the Roosters, who have one of the best teams in the comp. They're going to be competing no matter what for the next 4 or 5 years. So, as a player,
culture at the Roosters as well, culture of winning, which every player wants to win. Money's nice, but winning is what football is all about.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get on to our team previews. We'll start off with, so this week we're going to talk about the bottom four of the top eight from last year, 8th to 5th. And the first team is the Raiders. Their gains are Danny Levi and Sami Saulo. Their losses are Adam Elliott, Josh Hodgson, Chance Klukstad, and Ryan Sutton. And honestly, to be honest, yes, sick. From the trial form for the last 2 weeks, they look abysmal. They don't look very good at all. I know the whole team hasn't been out there. Like, I don't think Tarpanay's played for them and Papali'i together, like that sort of thing. But, man, I'm not very hopeful for them this season. They don't look great. And there's some other teams around that position, like the ladder from last year, that look good. What are your thoughts on them, Dano?
Oh, Canberra are one of those teams I think that everyone likes to see do well. But unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be their year. I think their premiership window has passed them. They passed that by a year or two. I think really their time when they had the best team out of real crack at winning a comp was around when they were in the grand final, 18, 19, 20, started slipping away 21, 22, gone more 23. They just don't look in the picture at all to be anywhere near sort of that spot or they'll be lucky to make the top 8 the way that it looks for them at the moment. Obviously, they've got some good players, but it's all about the team performs cohesively. So we'll see. They might surprise us. Hopefully, they do, but it doesn't look real good for them.
That's it. I think like looking at their squad, like now that Xavier Savage has been injured, they don't really have like a designated second choice fullback. So I think you look at that, like their squad strength probably isn't that great when you think about like they're probably going to move Rapana to play fullback. That doesn't like excite me in the slightest.
Rapana's older as well.
Hey,
Rapana, he's getting on in age as
oh
well.
yeah, yeah.
30 something.
He would be, and like slowing down his like ball skills and stuff. Like his reaction time as you get older, it slows down. It's natural. Like you can't, time gets us all. But I think
that's life.
That's it. I'm not excited by the Raiders at all. Like where do you see them finishing this season?
I could see them finishing somewhere. Maybe they might just sneak into the top 8, but I think more likely in the top half of the bottom 9. But I don't think it's out of the picture to see them even end up lower. But my guess would be in the top half of the bottom 9 teams.
Yeah, I agree. I've got them down here 12th to 14th. Like I don't know. I do see them dropping back this year. Like Raiders fans are always at me going, "Oh no, we made the top like top 8 last season," but that was only really because Broncos just shit the bed. Like if it wasn't for the Broncos, exactly, they would have finished like 9th or 10th around like the same place as the Dragons, and then that's not territory they want to be in. So
yeah,
like,
I think they were just there to make up the numbers, really, weren't they, last year?
Yeah, I mean they did beat Storm in the first week at the finals, but I think Storm. Had the Broncos had they made the finals last year, we're talking about the Raiders in a very different tone.
Yeah,
now.
definitely.
I think a lot of people are just gone, oh yeah, but they made the top 8 and not really reading into it. But anyway, a team that I am excited for this season is the Rabbitohs. Their gains for their squad are not available. They haven't signed anyone for their top 30, like any major roster signings for their top 30, but they have lost Mark Nichols, Jackson Paulo, and Cody Nikarima. Because Jade is down at Storm. So I honestly think the Rabbitohs, like, yes, it was against the Dragons, and like the local footy side could look good against the Dragons, but they just looked 3 or 4 paces ahead. They looked really, really sharp in attack. Everything was clicking. They just looked a lot better side and ready to go. What do you think about the Rabbitohs for this season?
Yeah, well, none of their losses are anything super major. No disrespect to the players that left, but I don't think it's anything that's going to majorly impact the structure of the team. You know, they've still got Trell Mitt there. Cody Walker, obviously, he's killing it.
Look at Ilias gets a year more experience in the NRL.
100%, just about to say that, Ilias, yeah. I think they've got a lot of potential this year. They can do some good things. They've sort of been in that picture the last couple of years for those top sort of 4 sides. So we'll see what can happen. Hopefully, I'm sure that all those fans they've got that have got 3 teeth in their head will get behind them and go to the Rabbitohs, go South. I'm sure they'll get behind them. And I'm just a messenger. That's what they sound like.
I think like Mark Nichols is probably their biggest loss for that side, but they've also got young guys like Davey Moali rather, is ready to come in and have a good year. There's also Tallis Duncan impressed me in the trials. Ben Lovett, like they're forwards and stuff that are coming through. Like they're just getting Nichols out before he becomes a liability. Like he didn't look very good for the Dolphins, if I'm honest.
I'm sure most of what Mark Nichols brought would have been off the field. I'd imagine he'd be good for the culture around the club for the young blokes, but he wasn't offering much on the field.
That's it. Like I honestly think the Rabbitohs this year could be contenders for the title if they keep 100%. Latrell on the field and playing good footy. And that's like if he can avoid injury and suspension. They're both like some red flags there for Latrell. But Cody Walker as well, he was like just at his best straight away in that team. Like they all just gel and click together so well that side. So like as I said before, sorry.
All I've got to do is just Walker to Trell to AJ. Just do that every week and they'll win the comp.
And the thing is, like, you know what's coming. Like every single team knows, okay, it's the backline shape to the like left-hand side, block plays, whatever. But they're so clinical and so quick that like it just doesn't matter. Like, and the second any defender turns their hips or just looks like takes a couple steps out of the line, Cody Walker makes him like pay. Like he'll hit Isaiah Tass for a short ball or something, drop like a Jai Arrow under. He's really, really like his footy IQ and like his footy smarts are so good.
100%. Yeah, and he's in that real. I think that sweet spot now of that age where his body's still holding up, but he has got all that intelligence.
Mm.
Getting older and playing. I know he didn't debut until he was older, but he has played a lot of first grade footy now. And him with the IQ and the freakish talent of the Latrell Mitchell and the try scoring ability of Alex Johnson, the Corey connection that'll win him a lot of games, and I reckon that can put him in a window to win the comp, 100%.
That's it. I think as long as Cody Walker can get better at like keeping calm with his like keeping his head on his shoulders and everything, like people, that's sort of the tactic with the Rabbitohs at the moment. Rile up Cody Walker, and then you're sweet. They're not going to
Oh,
play as good.
wouldn't
So,
you? Yeah, 100%.
so where do you think like the Rabbitohs finish this season?
I can see him finishing somewhere between fourth and seventh, just to put a random number in there, four to seven.
Yeah, okay. I think I've got a bit more faith in them. I've got them finishing top four, to be honest.
Yeah, okay.
So
Yep.
we'll go on to their crosstown rivals, the Sydney Roosters. They have gained. Don't know if you've heard of this bloke, Brendan Smith. Heard he goes
Who's
okay.
the young bloke? What position does he play?
Oh, anywhere really, apparently.
Any-
Jake Turpin, Jackson Paulo, Corey Allen. They've lost Sammy Verrills and Toke Aho. It's actually like a big loss and it hasn't really been spoken about it. But, bruh, if you look at their squad on paper, they could have probably the best 1 through 13, I want to say. Like, if everyone's fit, I think like their team's pretty much all rep players or they're the guys next in line. It's
And they've got
honestly
three
ridiculous.
international fullbacks in their starting side. They've got the
Yeah.
Holland fullback, the New Zealand fullback, and the Australian fullback.
And
And
it's
those
not,
are the three best international teams
yeah.
in the world. And
That's
it's freakish.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, it's not as if there's like, oh yeah, they've got the Lebanese fullback, the Maltese fullback, and like Cook Island fullback. Like, no offense to those nations, but they're obviously just not as good as like the three basically powerhouses of rugby league at
Australia,
the
New
moment.
Zealand,
Like,
and Samoa. Yeah, like get
it's
fucked.
it's just simply stupid.
Where
So
is the money coming from? Where is it coming from, Nicholas?
Nick Pilatus' back pocket.
Yeah, 100%, bro. He's giving them all fucking Rolexes, and it doesn't make sense to me. Obviously, we all know they're a bunch of cheats, but we'll forget about that. We'll forgive them
Yeah,
for
we'll
that.
brush over it. So yeah, I think they got the closest squad to Penrith. I think they'll be the closest team to Penrith this season. I actually reckon, like, to be honest, like they were filthy with themselves last year about how they like where they ended up finishing. I think if you're a Roosters fan, player, anyone involved with the club, a grand final is the minimum expectation for this season.
Definitely. As you said the other week, so in your opinion, they've got the most pressure on them of any club, and I think you're probably pretty right. They've got a few really good signings, and they're out of that sort of lull they had the last couple of years after they lost Cronk and they sort of they once they went downhill, they were still in the top 8 the whole time and still in contention, but now they're really in the box seat to do some damage to this comp, and very high expectations to at least make the grand final, hopefully for them win the comp.
That's it. I think like that's it. As I just said before, like if the Roosters don't make the grand final at the minimum this season, it's a failure of a year. Their team is just like they're all ready to go. I think like they've got now the only player who really is coming like as part of their spine. I suppose it's still a big change is Brandon Smith, but he's such a good player, and so there's other guys around him that they'll adapt straight away. They really were clicking it towards the end of the season, playing some really good footy, and I'm actually excited to see how they go. So apparently Joey Manu is going to be transitioning to like that Tommy Turbo origin role, that floating fullback. So that'll be really really sick to see.
He is way too good to just have him stuck out there in a corridor in the centres. He's got so much talent, so much skill. 100%. He's one of those blokes where you can just say, yeah, you're playing centre, but if you want to go onto the other side of the field, if you want to go in the middle, if you want to do this, do whatever you want. And he'll say, yep, sweet. And he'll do something sick with it, like Latrell and Turbo did during Origin the other year.
I think like, and having Joseph Suoliti as pretty much like, well, it's confirmed as the other center. They can both float around. I think like you have a look at those teams back in the 80s, like when like Parramatta won all their comps. It was Michael Cronin. I can't remember who the other center was because Brett Kenny was there 5'8". But the centers played in conjunction with each other, basically like an inside-outside center like they do in Union. Like, so float around, creates an extra man
Yeah.
attack. I think they could be putting some big scores on teams this year.
I think that's exciting, and I hope we kind of see it more in other teams going into the future, like a bit more sort of rather than now everything is so structured. Going, yep, this player stands here, he stands here, he stands here, he stands there. I think it's exciting to say to players, give them a bit more freedom and still keep that structure, but just let them play around with it a little bit more and
That
let
is
players
true.
play around.
As I said, I feel like there's not that many players in the comp that could probably do it right now in the center position. I just like having another think about it. Then maybe like a guy like Zach Lomax potentially could do it. And I'm just trying to think of like guys in the center position that have a bit of like ball like playing and stuff. Like a Herbie Farmworth, I think actually could excel in that role. I think
Yep,
he's a guy that wants to play fullback. Stephen Crichton too. He's definitely got
David
the
Ryan to do
skill
it,
to go around and
definitely.
do it. Like, I think that's quite exciting. Where do you see the Roosters finishing this year?
Top four,
Yeah,
easily, possibly top two.
yeah,
Minor, very possibly minor premiers.
yeah, I got the exact same for me. We'll move on to the Melbourne Storm. They have gained Tarek Sims, Eli Katoa, and Aaron Penne, and lost two Bromwich boys, Felice Kafusi, Brandon Smith, so about 600 games of experience, and Cooper Johns, the like biggest loss of them all. So like, as I said, like with their squad, they've just lost so much experience, and I'm interested to see how they go about that when the going gets tough in those games. I mean, obviously you've still got Munster and Hughes who are there and done everything in the game and will be able to lead the side around, but it is a huge, huge loss for them. I mean, that's why I think the signing of Tarek Sims got a little bit underrated because you do get that experience back a little bit there. But yeah, what do you think about the Storm going into 2023?
Oh, obviously Brandon Smith, I think, is the biggest loss, but he's followed closely by the Bromwich brothers. I think, yeah, as you said, they bring so much experience. They've been with the Melbourne Storm for years. They just storms through and through. Obviously Brandon Smith brings that freakish talent. Stop shaking your head at me. Stop shaking your head. The Storms.
The Storm.
Storms.
Stormer.
Storms. Nah, yeah, I still think they've got the potential to do pretty well this year. Obviously, they're the Storms. They've got Bellyache there. I'm sure he can work his magic, figure something out, and I've got not much doubt at all that they'll still be somewhere in the top 8, if not the top 4.
Yeah, of course. I think like it's the Storm under Craig Bellamy with Cameron Munster, Ryan Pappenhausen when he comes back, Jerome Hughes, Harry Grant, like Justin Olam when he comes back from injury, Remus Smith returns to form, Christian Welch is back. Like that's
that's a big one. That's a lot of experience there. Like Christian Welch, he is one of, as much as it pains me to say, one of my favourite players.
Dirty Queenslander though. Ugh.
Yeah, I know. That's why it hurts me. He plays for the Storm and the Maroons, and it does hurt me. But I like that kind of front rower, the more level-headed, gets his job done front rower. He's got a good offload. He will bring a lot to that team. They missed him last year.
I think as well, he's been rewarded with the captaincy today, so that's another like sort of just like thing for him to carry in terms of like pride and that sort of like go out there and play a bit more passion, lead from it like through example as well.
Yep.
But yeah, like even they've got guys like Nelson Sofa Solomon are still there. Like their team is still absolutely stacked. I have them
100%.
Yeah, I have them sitting in the same position as last season, like 5th to 8th, I think. But if they make the top 4, I will not be surprised.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
So unfortunately, we don't have any footy to preview this week. However, there still is a game of rugby league to be watched if you are the fan at home.
Oh, here we go.
4 p.m. at Lidcombe Oval, Sportshed TV charity match. I will be playing. Unfortunately, Dano won't because he come into the content game a bit too late. He'll be there next year if they have one. But yeah. So I'll be like down there. Make sure there's a link to watch the stream on Bar TV. It will be $5, but look, compared to what you're paying for like the Foxtel KO pennies, and look, the level of rugby league going to be played, going to be unreal. We'll see how that goes.
When's the last time you played a game of footy?
Let's not talk about it. But yeah,
was it with me? Was that in under 18s?
2018 was the last time I played a game of rugby league, organized rugby league. So cobwebs will be interesting.
There's another great game on this weekend down at Centenary Park, Albion Park, the first trial. for the Albion Park Oak Flats Eagles playing against La Perouse. If anyone wants to come down and watch that,
That's
sorry, go to the charity match instead,
yeah.
and
Bit,
then come down.
feel good about yourself. Go donate some money to charity, and well, it's just a good day, good event down at Lincoln Oval. If you can get there, that'd be unreal. Come up, say hello if you are there. But if
Yeah.
not, make sure you join the stream. Now we'll move on to the next segment of the podcast. It's going to be our start bench cut. So I'll go first. I think I've got a pretty good one for you here. Good luck. We're going to have a look at the lock position. It's going to be Cameron Murray, Isaiah Yeo, and Paddy Carrigan. Go for your life.
Start bench cut. Okay. Paddy Carrigan, Cameron Murray, and Isaiah Yeo, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Personally, I think that's a pretty easy cut, and then the start and bench is where it gets a bit. Oh,
yeah. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to start Isaiah Yeo because he's hands down the best lock in the game.
so you rate him over Cameron Murray?
I do rate him over Cameron Murray. I really
I
like
respect
Cameron
it.
Murray, but I think just as a pure lock, Isaiah is better. Just his ball playing, the things he brings, he just so much can, like, when he touches the ball, I just feel like the defenses get so confused. They're like, is he having a hit up? Is he going to pass? Is he going to drop someone under? Is he going to kick? What's he going to do? He just brings so much, which Cameron Murray does well, but I feel like Isaiah does it better. I'm going to bench Cameron Murray.
Okay, good.
I really like Paddy Carrigan, but I'm going to have to, sorry, bro, you cut.
Yeah, I think
up for a week.
Yeah, I think Cameron Murray and Isaiah Yeo are 100% the best two locks in the game.
Yeah.
And like,
right.
I don't mind whoever like someone puts as their number one out of those two. As long as it's one of those two, then go for your life.
Yeah, I do like Paddy Carrigan, but sorry, he's just not in the same league as those two other boys, unfortunately, in my opinion.
Do you have a start bench cut for me, Dano?
Yeah, I do have a start bench cut for you. All right, I'm going to look at the front row position. No surprises. Start bench cut. James Fisher-Harris, Joseph Tarpanay, and Junior Paulo.
Oh, wow.
Like,
okay. That is quite tough. I think I've got my starting front rower easy. That is going to be James Fisher-Harris, best lock. We talk about locks. Best front rower in the game for me. Like, he does everything. If he wanted to, I think he could play like 70, 80 minutes. He's just tireless worker. Like, never really catch him out in defense, and he's always just there, just making 10, 15 meters a run, like every single time. Good, quick play the balls too. Now, Tarpanay or Junior Paulo is so tough for me. I think, look, if I look at it from, I've got him for one game. I am taking Junior Paulo off the pine.
Just because of the impact he'll bring off the bench?
Yes, because when you've got someone like James Fisher-Harris going out there, softening up the ruck for 25 minutes, and then you bring on the human wrecking ball, he's so thick. Like, he's a monstrous man. He's a monstrous man.
He's just a head and one giant neck that's wider than it is tall.
Yeah. I think, like, it sounds funny, but if I had like Tarpanay and Junior Paulo there to start, I'd probably like start Tarpanay.
Yeah,
definitely. I think he'd take the edge off the game and then you just bring on the battering ram. But yeah, so I am starting James Fisher-Harris, benching Junior Paulo, and then unfortunately Joseph Tarpanay, you're getting cut.
Oh, there you have it. Tyson does not rate Joseph Tarpanay, thinks he's shit, hates him. That's what he said. Quote it.
Well, so
there's your headline, Paul Kent and Buzz Rothfield.
You've just stitched me up there.
Shit on Joseph Tarpanay.
So you've just stitched me up. Last week, I did stitch you up and made it sound like you thought.
Oh, yeah. No. Let me say this, all right? I was waiting for the opportunity to say this, okay? When I said Queensland will have the best looking spine, when I say best looking, I'm talking about attractiveness. I'm talking about hotness, who the ladies love the most, all right? And I'm getting all these comments on the TikTok and they make my heart sad. You're hurting my feelings and I can't deal with it. I'm not an idiot. Obviously, it's not the best spine in the history of the NRL. Like, Cronk, Slater, I'm Thurston, I'm Smith. I'm so angry. I can't even think. I can't speak. You've stitched me up, and all the people in the comments, leave me alone. I know what I'm talking about. I'm not an idiot. Best looking, they're hot. They're hot. That's what I meant. That's the
Well,
last I'll be hearing of that. And if
speaking.
you can clip that and put it on TikTok, please, because I need the people. And if anyone on TikTok has a problem, I'll drop me address in the comments. You can come speak to
Oh,
me.
okay.
Freaking
Righto,
house here. Bunch
righto,
of
hero.
keyboard warriors.
Righto, hero. Okay, but what you're gonna do right now is redeem yourself and tell me who your top tennis bloke. Top far out. What you're gonna do right now is redeem yourself and tell me who your top 10 hottest blokes in rugby league are.
Okay, I will. I will tell you that. Okay, and I've picked them in no particular order. And if you don't
Okay.
like that,
Yep.
sorry, but that's what I've done.
That's okay.
All right, these are my 10 blokes. I've got starting with a bit of a wild card. Tyson Frizzell, very hot.
Yep.
Very hot. Kalen Ponga. I think a lot of his hotness comes from his aura more than his actual looks. His swagger.
Yep. The
Nico
vibes. The vibes.
Hines,
It's all the vibes.
yeah, the vibes for sure. Nico Hines, obviously, because young
Look at
Heath
him.
Ledger. Cameron Murray, the original Mr. Arousing, that jawline, and that smile.
Baby Blues too.
Baby Blues. Connor Watson. What a beefcake. What a hunk. Joey Manu. He's got that, that light dark skin sort of thing. He's just, he's got all that talent. Ryan Madison, the arms on him.
The pipes, the old Wesley Snipers.
Wesley Snipes. Imagine him picking you up. He just, mate, you feel like you weigh nothing. Valentine Holmes, same sort of thing, Manu, same category. In that same category as well, you could put Stephen Crichton. And I've got the Gerringong hometown hero, Mr. Ruben Garrick. How could you not have him in there?
Okay, all right. I'm happy that Rube's got in there, but how can you leave my boy Dill Bags off the list?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he's, no offense, Dill. I don't know. When I'm looking for in a man, I feel like he's maybe a little bit too skinny for me. Sorry. I know, like, he just compared to the other blokes on the list, I've got some big beef.
Body shaming. Oh my god.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I didn't myself actually have a list. I thought I'd let Dana have the floor there, but just off the top of my head, if I'm thinking of some hot players, I think we got Joey Manu, obviously, Dylan Brown.
I didn't have him in the list, but he's hot.
You had him on the list.
Tyson Frizzell.
Yeah, he said it's the first bloke you said.
Not Tyson Frizzell. Tarek Sims. I meant.
Yes. He is a large man.
Mm.
So yeah, as well. So whoever said Joey Manu, Dylan Brown, Stephen Crichton to Zach Lomax.
Nah, not Zach Lomax.
He's big man.
Nah, don't like him. My girlfriend reckons he's hot, so I hate him.
All right. What we'll do then?
No, I don't hate him. He's, I'm sure he's a nice guy. But
move on to a segment that you have introduced to the podcast this week. Take the floor away, Dano.
All right. The other day I was in my car driving along on the way to the gym. Tunes are pumping. I was getting revved up, and I thought, it'd be a good idea for a segment. I thought tunes to get you pumped up for footy. So Tyson and I have come together. We've picked 5 songs each. Is that correct?
That's it.
Our top 5 songs to get you pumped up for a footy game. All right. Would you like to start, or would you like me to start? Because I've introduced it. I feel like you should start.
I'll start. I reckon we go 1 for 1. I'll start with my number 5.
Yep.
Power, Kanye West.
Oh, good pick.
Yeah,
good.
Just get you just like the background music. There's a bit of beat going on. Yeah. All right, let's go.
Yeah, 100%. All right, good pick. All right, so my 5th spot, I've got Many Men by 50 Cent.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I like that.
He's that's so I know all the words to it. Sing it. It's just that beat. Many men wish death upon me.
Makes you feel like the main character. You're like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, definitely.
My number 4, Joker and the Thief by Wolfmother. That riff at the start, it's just it gets me going. See, I'm usually, man, I don't listen to rock music or anything very much at all.
Yeah,
but it gets me pumped up if I listen before footy. I think there's a bit of the old man still that in me. But yeah, Joker and the Thief, my number 4.
I remember listening to that song. My parents were playing it when I was like 5, 6. Yeah. All right, my number 4. This is a bit of an odd pick, and there's a possibility that you've heard it on TikTok in all those Sigma Male edits. The Worth Nothing remix. It's by Twisted with Oliver Tree. Look it up on TikTok if you haven't, on Spotify if you haven't heard it. It normally is paired with a video of Patrick Bateman in American Football. So that is so good. When the beat drops, you just feel like, you do feel like the main character. Like, yeah, I'm the man. I'm the man. So
Yeah.
that one, which is what you want to feel before a footy game.
Exactly right. So my number 3, again, it's you've only got one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. Lose yourself.
Oh, I knew it was going
Number
to be in
3.
somewhere. Yeah, lose yourself.
And
Yeah.
what is your number 3 there, mate?
All right, my number 3. I've got it's a song by a bloke called Mike Dimes. It's called Wiss. He's a rapper. I think he's from Texas or something.
Yeah, right.
This is my personal choice. This is what gets me pumped up for footy games.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard it, give it a listen. It's got a real hard beat. And it's a lot of songs from Mike Dimes good before footy, but I've particularly picked that one.
Yeah, okay. I can't say I've ever heard it. I'll have to go check it out after the potty. So my number 2, mate, Eminem's Marshall Mathers, back for another one. This is Till I Collapse.
Oh, that's a classic. Classic gym, footy, boxing, anything masculine.
Yeah.
Yeah, such a good pick. That is a good pick. All right. Now I've got another song in a bit of a different genre. Killing in the Name of by Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I love them 90s white boys screaming in my ear. You know what I mean? That
Hey,
gets me real pumped up.
you can't knock it. So over to my number 1 spot, the song that just gets every single time I hear the first like riff of that guitar, it just gets me ready to go out and just hurt people. Kickstart My Heart by the Motley Crue.
Yeah, that's a classic.
What a track.
It's a classic rugby league track. I remember talking to my old man about it. He said before he played footy, he used to have a Walkman, and he had "Kickstart My Heart" by Motley Crue in there. So,
yeah, I think like just the old man saw that to me. We're in like 10 or 11. As soon as we see the oval in the distance, it just puts it on like, oh yeah, let's go. Proceeded to miss about 50 tackles, make 3. Anyway, that's not the point.
That's just All right, my number 1, I've got called "Fight Music" by D12.
Yes. Yes.
So good.
I don't know. I get you ready to take on anyone.
It's got the guitar in the first dun and they've got like a sound of people starting to fight in the background. It just makes you want to go and just hurt people, which is really what rugby league is all about, isn't it? Just hurting others for your own amusement.
Especially if you're playing front row.
Yeah. I got an honourable mention too. I
Yep.
on the list. I wanted to Enter Sandman.
Oh, yes, of course. Track.
Yeah.
And then when the drum comes in, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
So that's our top 5 pump up songs. Let us know what your favorite pump up song is before footy, and I might have to chuck it on in the headphones before the charity match. So we'll get on now to, we had some good questions come in this week from the fans. First one is from Sam Loader 05. Says, is selling Dom Young a smart move since Kai Pearce-Paul and Will Price are coming to the Knights in 2024? I will let you get to this one as a Knights fan, but my first thought to this was like, well, neither of them are wingers, so I don't see how that's a smart move. Kai Pearce-Paul's a second rower. Will Price is a fullback, and as well, they're unproven. They're coming to the Super League. I suppose Dom Young did as well, but I don't think there's like for like. So I see what you're saying, because they've got young other guys coming over, but for me, it doesn't make sense.
Was not a smart move. That's all I'll say on the matter.
That's all you say?
I'm not. It's close to my bedtime. I need to relax, so I don't want to get fired up. So I'll say I disagree wholeheartedly with the idea that was possibly a smart move. I think it was a stupid move. That's all I'll say on the matter. Thank you.
Fair enough. We'll go on to Blake Eddie _33's question. He says, do you see the Tigers getting near the top 8? Near the top 8? Yeah. In the top 8? No.
No.
Yeah. I just think that there are a few signings away. Their backline still needs a lot of improvement. As we pretty much say every week on this podcast. Got to see how people gel. Johnny Bateman might even play till round 3 or 4 with the way he's going, because he's just got to Australia like the other day, so his conditioning is not going to be great. But I think there's definitely excitement for Tigers fans. You'll get to watch some decent and better footy this year, but yeah, I don't think top 8's this year.
Yeah, I agree. I think they'll go a lot better this year than they went last year. And near the top eight, quite possibly. You know, they might finish in their favourite position again, ninth.
Yeah. Hey, they take that.
But oh, I'm sure they would take that. But yeah, no, I can't see them making the top eight. No, and maybe in a year or two when their side gets more time to gel, possibly, and maybe hopefully another couple good signings in the back line somewhere.
Yeah, that's it. I think yeah, couldn't agree with you anymore there, mate. So on to number 3. This is from Slim Thick Changa. Great name, but he's in the comments. He's been in the comment section since like 5,000 followers on TikTok. He is real OG. His question
Yeah.
is Dragons themed. Funny that he has this Dragons and a Knights question here. Wonder why that is. Do you think Hook will get the hook this year? I definitely think he should. I think Anthony Griffin will be out of the club by round 6.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. And I'm not sure who I heard talking about it. Someone in some kind of rugby league media was saying that there's been discussion around trying to get Jason Royals at the club,
I have heard
who's
that,
obviously a club legend and has been an assistant coach down at the
as
Storms.
well as the Roosters.
Yeah, and the Roosters for a while now. So, you know, maybe they might just have him waiting there saying, you know, Hook's going to go. You want to come
Yeah,
next year?
I see. Like, I don't mind the Jason Rolls, like idea theory. I think as well the thought that there's a couple other clubs that are probably the coaches on the outer, and there is a guy, Des Hasler. Look, he has left Manly and the Bulldogs in a bit of turmoil, like the last couple of times since he's left.
So is
But
Wayne Bennett, but after every club he's left it in shit, and they still say he's the best coach.
yeah, well, what I was about to say is like, but at least the Bulldogs and Manly under him were competitive. They made the finals. They made the top 4. Like, I would give anything to watch the Dragons play in the finals. So honestly, if I got to watch us go shit for another couple of years after we go good, so be it. But I think Jason Riles is good long term if they just back him and let him get his squad. See, Anthony Griffin has the squad that he wants now, and it still sucks. I think like alternatively, Jamie Soward is there. I know he's like the women's coach, and it sort of leaves them a bit stranded, but he's definitely got a good career, like future in coaching. So I don't know. Either way, just get nah. I don't want Shane Flanagan. Cheating
Don't
dog,
want Shane
cheating dog.
Oh,
I
even
don't.
football games, but
Yeah, but I don't want it to then be have an asterisk next to it.
okay. Well, I'll have him at the Knights when they get rid of AOB. Then I'll
Yeah,
have
that's fair enough. So this one is next. The last question we have from you guys is from Jake Cairns. Now, I've sprung this on you a little bit. I probably should let you know about this question, but I can go first if you like. Most underrated players going into this season.
Ooh, most underrated player. Yeah, you go first. Let me do some thinking.
So the player that I thought, like, look, he did play for Australia in the last World Cup. That was a few months ago, but he doesn't really get spoken about in the elite of his position. Campbell Graham, I think, is super heavy underrated. I think he's a great player, really good. Like, I think something that I think is underrated a lot with centers, because personally I believe it's the best, like hardest position to defend against. That might just be because I'm playing there in a charity match and want to just cover up my mistakes already. But like I think defensively he is maybe the best defender in that position in the comp. Like at least be close to top 5 for sure. And he's getting a lot better on that right side. Like I think as well, because the left side of Rabbitoh's attack gets so many flowers and just gets so much praise, the right side gets forgotten about. But Campbell Graham for me, I wouldn't be mad to see him play State of Origin this season if Turbo or Latrell get injured.
Yep, which is quite possible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, most underrated player. I think David Klemmer spent a lot of time on the bench last year for the Knights, but if you look at the stats, he was one of the Knights' best, and I think maybe he was a bit sick of it. He wasn't happy playing. Obviously, he wasn't happy playing off the bench. No one is. I think at the Tigers, as a new club, he can do really well this year. I don't think anyone's sort of got any expectations or hopes on him. Think he's maybe getting on in age a bit, but I think he can really do a lot at the Tigers, and I hope he does, because I've always been a big fan of Clem when he was at the Bulldogs, especially when he was at the Knights, and obviously New South Wales and Australia as well.
So I tend to agree, and I think like his form hasn't changed that much since he was playing Origin. Like he's still there, been absolute dog. I think he was the Knights' best forward statistically at least last season. So
yeah.
I think like that's definitely a good shout.
The same thing. He doesn't do nothing special. Doesn't set the world on fire, but you know exactly what you're going to get from him, week in, week out, and I love those players. So I think he's underrated, and I think he can hopefully do well for the Tides.
That's it. So there you have it. That's our underrated players for going into the 2023 season. And that is the end of another episode of the Trademark Sports Podcast. If you made it this far, thank you very, very much. We've only got one more weekend until the footy is back for the next 6 months.
Get excited!
So keen. But yeah, so if you are stinging for some footy like we are, make sure you jump on the stream or attend the charity match this weekend. Is there anything left for you to say, Dano?
No.
All right, there you have it, folks. Thanks for watching, guys. Or listening
Thank
too.
you.
You do that. You listen to podcasts, don't you? Thanks for listening.
And watching on YouTube. Goodbye.
Yeah, of course. Bye.